Two things to say about integration. It's bleeding obvious, isn't it, that we need to do it, and it's difficult. And we need to address both of those issues. It's obvious because the people who use our services don't just use one of them. They use many of the services at the same time or at different times, and actually navigating the system for them is incredibly difficult. We make it incredibly difficult, and actually we need to make sure that we coordinate what we do really effectively, and we've heard some examples of where that does work and where it can work better, and I think that's our job to deal with that. So we need to make sure that we're delivering what people need and what will make a difference to their lives. I think that's central to the purpose. And I also think because it's difficult, we need to answer the question of how do we make it easier for everybody. I think that's our job, and there are many dimensions to that. You can come at that from a very technical perspective. Actually, in the integration work in the west of the county, we came at it from a very human perspective, which was about creating a sense of identity. And we all carry a sense of identity in the NHS. We identify with our profession, with our organisation, with our team. Some of us will carry multiple identities. And sometimes those identities become exclusive rather than supportive. So we looked at how did we create a supportive identity for people working together in a different way, across organisational boundaries, around a common purpose. And how do you build that sense of coming together? And generally people do it by communicating with each other, talking to each other, working together and achieving something together. And that's what we set out to do. And I want to give one example of what we did in the multi-specialty team and why it's spread across the county. And this is, I refer to as the broken toilet man. He was 71, he'd had an RTA, road traffic accident, and he'd had a catheter in place. He'd lost confidence in eating and drinking because of the catheter, and he had a broken toilet, and people didn't recognise that. He was admitted to hospital with a blocked colon, unsurprisingly. He got really good care. He had a good diet, and they had good toilets in the hospital, and he was fine. They looked after him really well, and he went home and he went back to the same circumstances that he was in before. And in between times, he'd been referred to the multi-specialty team. And they recognised the problem, but they couldn't prevent a second admission. But when he went in a second time, they spoke to one of his neighbours, one of his friends, and said, we need to organise to get the toilet fixed. They negotiated with a man who wasn't keen for a plumber to go in, and they got that fixed. They got Meals on Wheels, they reduced the number of agencies going in to see him, and improved his lot considerably and prevented further costs down the track, and I think that's really important. But actually it was a sense of understanding what that person needed and delivering that by working together that was the real issue. So his outcome changed, his experience of service changed, and we reduced demand on the system. So that's a win all round, and we can do that many times over. And we need to think about how we scale up on that. So how do we move from doing that occasionally to doing that every time? And I think there are a few different things. One of the things we need to do is create a sense of common purpose across our organisations. What is it that we're trying to achieve for people? And how do we describe that in a way that connects with staff who feel that sense of purpose at the front line? We need to give people some space to think, some time to work differently, which is easily said, but actually quite difficult to do because everybody is on a track at the moment. We need to bring people together in localities and below locality level. I spent the first 10 years of my career working on primary healthcare teams. I still think in terms of primary healthcare teams. How do we create that sense of a team at a local level that will share resources, share issues, find common problems to common issues that they face? I think that's central to what we're trying to do. And we need to give people some freedom. We need to take the shackles off many of our staff and let them focus on what it is that they know needs to be done. And there are lots of people chasing lots of minutiae in the NHS at the moment, and we're missing the point. And I think often we deliver the service and miss the point because we're chasing specific things. So I think we have to stop that. So we have to scale up, we have to move to a different level. We've demonstrated that we can do it at an individual level, we need to move to a larger scale. So I think that's part of the discussion today. My job now is to introduce Ian, who's the Director of Arts Community Services, Adult Social Care and Libraries, as he always tells me. I've worked with Ian for a while. He's a big character, a man with a great sense of humour. He's got a fantastic story about slippers, if you ask him. He'll tell you. A bon vivant, he tells me he eats out every night. That's quite impressive. And he drives a really big truck through the mean streets of Lemsford. I suppose you need it in Lemsford, don't you? And I think he got it after he went on a trip to America. And I think somewhere in your house there's a hidden Stetson and a check shirt, and you're a secret line dancer probably. There's something going on there that I can't quite figure out. But it's great working with Ian. One thing I would say is I think social care has a really difficult task at the moment. The market for social care is really difficult and it's impacting on everybody. And I think Ian needs our support, and we need to work closely with social care to ensure that the system in the round is functioning. And I can say to Ian, he certainly has my support in delivering the services in the best way possible. So over to you.